good afternoon, whatever time of day it is that you are listening, folks. Thank you very, very much for listening. Date today is the 19th of April, 19th of August, year of our Lord 2025. Welcome to yet another edition of the Coping Hour, hosted by Nicholas Hinkle, a.k.a. Motown Noah. A lot of news today, a lot of news dropping over the weekend. We're a day late releasing this episode. If you're watching today's episode, you'll notice my striking appearance. Cool Nick, Chill Nick is once again back. This is an unexpected appearance from Chill Nick. So I lost my favorite pair of sunglasses, my Tom Ford sunglasses. Lost them at the park, like last week. Last weekend, I took my son to the park up on the north side for our Chicago-based listeners. Went to Oz Park in Lincoln Park. And I don't really know how it happened, but when we went to leave, my sunglasses were gone. My Tom Ford sunglasses were gone. I was distraught. I have a million pairs of like designer sunglasses, but my Tom Fords were my everyday walking around pair. Loved how they looked on me, and the fact that they were Tom Ford, probably the best luxury brand, literally in the entire world. Oz Park is a strange one. I don't know what the connection is for the people who don't live here. Oz Park. It's literally a park that has statues of like Dorothy and the Tin Man, and then I don't know if there's the lion and then the Scarecrow, and I just have never seen them. But I've been there a couple times in the last like 6 years that we've lived here. Yeah, I don't know. And then there's a little like a playground for the kids. It's called like Emerald City, and it's got asbestos and child abuse, and the kids love it. They just go nuts. There's no like little guys there though. There's no like little what are they called, munchkins? None of those. But there's also no asbestos and there's no child abuse. But I just wanted to make the joke because what was it when they were in the? I don't need everybody fucking knows this at this point that there was asbestos in that movie that was supposed to be snow, and then what was her name? Dame Judi Dench. Is that who that is? Judy Garland. Judy Garland was like a kid in that movie, and I think the abuse to her happened after the fact. I think it was the rest of her career that she dealt with abuse. I don't remember if it was on the set of The Wizard of Oz. I don't remember. But yeah, went there and lost my sunglasses. And then Maddie comes home like an hour ago, and she has something behind her back, and she was like, pick a hand. Now, normally, when she tells me to pick a hand, it could be anything. It could be something kind of chill, like something mundane but still fun, like, hey, I got us candy and you get to pick which one, but it's like a random thing. So I pick between the Sour Patch Kids and Skittles or something like that, or like she'll I don't know, like name a thing, like it could be anything. So I was like, whoa, okay, what's this? She got me a brand new pair of Tom Ford sunglasses. If you're watching today's show, also see right there, read it and weep, Tom Ford. That's Tom Ford. So I had to bust out Chill Nick. Chill Nick is back. As the look, in our culture, I think I try to be as on the cusp of identifying phenomena, whether it be in culture or politics or in sports. And I think in this moment, I think we're creating a new identity politics, and it's fucking racket in the year of our Lord 2025. There's the spectrum is as vast as it's ever been. What if we just invent a new one right here on the spot, and we say there's the alt left and there's the alt right, and what if there's like a branching off of the multiverse, and we just invent the alt chill, the alternative chill. I would like to anoint myself in this moment as the clown prince of the alt chill. And who are some celebrities you think I could get to back this party? Who are some celebrities that I think fit into the alt chill? Boban, that's off the rip. What do you think his politics are? Where is he from? Is he Serbian? I don't remember where he's from. Do you think that it's likely that if we found out about Boban's politics that we would be crushed? Do you think we'd be sad about it? Do you think that's a guy that we should just like let exist as a funny guy? And he was in Happy Gilmore too. He was really funny. That whole movie was really funny. I'd love to spend 5 minutes talking about it, but I don't want to get too off the road here. I just can't. Well, I don't know, because he spent so much of his life around. But I don't know. I think most NBA players. You talk about a guy who's just been on a cold streak this whole summer. What the fuck? Why do people keep putting a microphone in front of Michael Porter Jr.? What's going on with him? What's going on with him? Like, talk about scaring the hose 101. Michael Porter Jr. is like is a serial offender, I would imagine, of hashtag scaring the hose. So what was the most recent quote that came out about him? He was like on a podcast and he was like, yeah, like if I got a girl over, I'll just like throw on some Andrew Tate because I want to see how she reacts to it. And I want to like play devil's advocate and like just have a real conversation with her. I'm like, hold on, wait. Now, it's not uncommon that people's actual like real life prejudice gets veiled in sarcasm and then they just play it off like they're doing a bit or something. But I feel like in Michael Porter Jr.'s case, like, I don't know, I feel like whenever we hear from him, he's either saying weird shit about girls, or it's like vaccine distrust, or it's like, oh, my back, I can't get up the stairs, like on some real life alert shit. Look, we cover all the biggest stories. We cover them from all angles. We try our best to. I don't know what was a bigger story since we last taped a show. Vladimir Putin was in the United States. Putin was here. He's boots on the ground. So Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin decided to have a little meeting, little powwow in Alaska. Zelensky was not invited. Kind of was invited and not really invited and blah, 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 blah. Why did they have it in Alaska? Well, because it was easiest for Putin to get to Alaska without having to fly over a country's airspace that has him on like a war criminal list, so that whatever country, name a country, throw a fucking dart at a board. It's like 100 countries that are like, hey, that's a war criminal. So that they couldn't force an emergency landing. And I mean, there's practically a damn land bridge connecting Alaska and Russia, so it made sense. It's not like Trump picked that. That was Putin's idea, right? And I gotta say, I thought it was just kind of like interesting that they were going to be meeting in the first place, and then I guess I didn't realize how it was going to make me feel, like seeing him in the U.S. And there is something weird that happened in my brain where I was like, it's Alaska, bro. Like, it's the United States, but it's like fucking Siberia, basically. You know? Because it's not attached to anything other than, like, two countries that aren't America. But it still is. It's the same way that, like, Hawaii, right? Like, that is America. Actually, I feel weirder about not acknowledging Hawaii as, like, one of the 50 states, but the way that we ended up with Hawaii, isn't there some shit there where it's like not cool how we ended up with that? I don't remember. It's not like an occupation. Whatever. One of you guys in the comments, one of you history buffs will let me know. Okay, so Putin is in Alaska, and I don't know, man. The reporting that has come out of this has been pretty shocking. So they basically have like a 2 or 3 hour meeting where they're talking about like a resolution to the conflict in Ukraine, the unjust occupation of the eastern reaches of Ukraine by Russian forces. And some of the reporting has basically been like, it's been so bizarre to see a word that I've never fucking heard in my life, and this entire weekend I just have not stopped hearing it. Ashen? Describing people's faces and expressions as ashen. I've never heard that in my entire life. I'm not a literacy major. I've never heard that in my entire life. But specifically Carolyn Levitt, like basically the people who were in the room, like all of Trump's cronies, his fucking rat pack, Pete Hegseth, Marco Rubio, J.D. Vance, Carolyn Levitt, like yada, yada, yada. They're in the room while Trump and Putin are having this damn conversation. And apparently by the time they got out, they heard some shit that blew their fucking minds. Now, the speculation, it's unknowable what was really said in there. I'm sure one day Carolyn Levitt's going to write a book, the press secretary for Donald Trump. She's going to write a book someday, and it's going to be hard for me not to read it, because eventually she's going to turn on him. It's unknowable when that's going to be. Eventually she will, though, and she'll spill the beans on what she heard in there. I imagine it'll be something to the effect of like, oh, wow, it was just really hitting the nail on the head that Putin has had Trump collared like this entire time, and this like untouchable messiah that they seem to think that Trump is. A light was really shown on the reality of the entire situation, which is that like Putin really is in, I don't want to say control of everything that Trump does. I don't know if I've ever believed the whole like Russian agent allegations from Trump. There's a lot of evidence out there that on the surface would seem compelling, but I'm not too sure. But that's also not to say that I don't believe that the two countries, well, rather Trump and Russia as a nation, but specifically Vladimir Putin, have worked in conjunction to like win an election or two. I wouldn't say that that's entirely inconceivable to think. But okay, so then eventually there's a press conference that happens. They do not take questions. And the whole time, like, going into this was we were expecting there to be a ceasefire, and there was probably going to be some, like, land concessions, which is a little bit strange that Donald Trump would be able to broker that deal because he's not allowed to. What is it, like Ukraine's constitution? There has to be, like, this huge referendum or whatever the fuck where the country is in support of it, and absolutely nobody in Ukraine supports the idea of Russians taking over the Donbass region in eastern Ukraine. Oh, okay. So eventually, right, they get to these podiums, and they each talk for, like, I don't know, 5, 7, 10 minutes, and they don't really say anything. The only interesting thing that I thought that Putin said was, like, he doubled down on the thing that Trump has been saying for the last 2 years, which is, if I was the president when this conflict kicked off, 3.5 years ago? He was like, it wouldn't have happened at all. It wouldn't happen. Putin agreed with him. He's like, he's 100% right. He's like, the administration previous to yours were a bunch of fucking idiots, puppet morons, and it's really too bad that we're at war because of Joe Biden. It's okay. And then everything else was just kind of like I guess it was maybe like a moment of, like, shame on me for expecting that there was going to be a moment of clarity to, like, what the fuck did you guys actually just talk about? Did you come to an agreement on anything? Is there a ceasefire? Like, the word ceasefire, I checked the transcripts if you want, I don't think was said once. They mentioned, like, wanting to stop the fighting and that, you know, lives are being meaninglessly lost. But the word ceasefire, I don't think was said once. I was watching it live with my fucking kid, dude. It was wild. Okay, and then it's Trump's turn. Now, listen, if you are somebody who believes the whole Putin has Trump collared thing, his demeanor was a little bizarre during this thing. He was not acting outrageous. He was not acting like Donald Trump. He was acting the most like a politician that he could, where he would also add his Trump-isms, right? Where he would talk about, like, ending the 12-day war, or, like, I've ended 6 wars, and no president's ever ended 6 wars before. I've ended wars between countries that lasted for 30 years. He loves to take credit for the Pakistan-India shit, despite the fact that members of both governments have come out and been like, he has literally nothing to do with this at all. We haven't even fucking talked to Donald Trump, so we don't know what the fuck he's talking about. So, like, yeah, peppered in here and there, he would do his Donald Trump shit. But he was not going off script to some absurd degree that you would normally see from him. But he also didn't really say anything. He just talked about how it was a great meeting. We made a lot of progress, and this was a spectacular and monumental moment. And I will call Zelensky after this, and I would say that we are very, very close to making a deal, and there's a very good chance we make a deal. But, of course, there's always the chance that we don't, but I do think that we will. He's just doing, like, word salad. He's just inflating the word count on this little speech, if that's what you want to call it. He also didn't really say anything. He mentioned, in passing, like, land concessions and shit like that. Oh, okay. I'm gonna call Zelensky after this. I'm gonna call members of NATO after this, and other European leaders who need to be privy to shit like this. They didn't take questions, and that was kind of done. I gotta tell you though, too, it is hard to know when Trump is, like, having an authentic moment and when he's just doing, like, gimmicky TV shit. There was a moment at the very end that I was like, ooh, he meant that shit. So Putin did his whole thing in, is it Cyrillic? Is that what he speaks? Or is it Russian? I don't know. I have no idea, right? Well, he did his thing in fucking Orabesh. He didn't speak English the entire time until the very end when they were done. And Trump was like, thank you for doing this, President Putin, and blah, 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 blah. And then Putin in English goes, the next time we see each other, maybe it'll be in Moscow. And Trump laughs and was like, I don't fucking know about that. I don't think that's going to go well for me at all. He was like, fuck no, I'm not doing that. And it was very funny to read his body language and to see his face and to hear how he delivered it. Like, I don't know about that. That's not going to fucking happen. I was like, holy shit, you actually mean that. And there's no fucking way. I actually believe him. I don't think there's any chance that he'll be boots on the ground in Russia. There's no way. Right? What has been, before we get to, like, the interesting part of this, the whole thing's interesting, I think. But what sucks as a result of that meeting is you're seeing certain battalions of Russian soldiers flying American flags in Ukraine. They have Russian flags and American flags on their tanks, and they're riding those shits around. I saw one of a fucking drone flying around with an American flag. Imagine how demoralizing that must be. I mean, it's unknowable. Hey, I don't know. I'm not in the fucking trenches in the Donetsk fucking region. I don't know. But if I'm a Ukrainian and I just see a bunch of, like, are the Wagner guys even still around anymore? I see meat waves coming at me, and they have American flags that they're waving. What does that feel like? Does that feel like you've been abandoned? Because in some way, you know what I mean? In some way, like, these talks, and maybe I should just say the next part first before I make the point I was about to make. So the response to that, within, 3 days, the Putin-Trump meeting was on Friday, and it's Monday, and as of this taping, we are, like, 4 hours removed from the fucking Avengers, the European Avengers, assembling in Washington, D.C. Did you see this? Did you hear about this? So, on Monday, August 18th, 2025, Volodymyr Zelensky came to D.C. He's back, part 2, and he wore a damn suit this time. Not only was he back, he was joined at the White House by France's President Emmanuel Macron, Germany's Chancellor Friedrich Merz, Prime Minister Keir Starmer, England, stand up, Giorgia Meloni, what the hell? President of Finland, Alexander Stubb, NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte, and I'm sorry, I just lost the thing. And Ursula von der Leyen, the president of the European Union's executive arm. So let me just read all those names again. Well, the most important ones, I think, are Macron, Merz, Keir Starmer, and Giorgia Meloni. Actually, Alexander Stubb being there is interesting, too. And let me say that first. Well, yeah, let me say that first. Alexander Stubb being there is interesting because, and he actually mentioned this, and I was glad that he did. So when you talk about, like, land concessions and the fact that Ukraine, I don't know, they're not going to get all of Ukraine back. They're definitely not getting Crimea back. Russia's had that for like 11 damn years at this point. There's literally zero chance. I think that's something they probably know that they just have to bite the bullet on that one, right? I don't know. I don't fucking know. But in World War II, the Russians invaded Finland because they share a massive land border with them. And then after a couple months in the winter, they kind of just like gave up. And there was a ceasefire. And then the Soviets just like land grabbed. And they're like, hey, basically where the front line is, everything there extending back to Russia is actually ours now. And that was the concession that Finland made so that they could stop fighting, right? And then that was it. And then Russia fucking left them alone. So I think Stubbs' voice here is actually important from a historical perspective, right? But Macron, Merz, Keir Starmer, and Giorgia Meloni? What the fuck is Giorgia Meloni doing here? What's she doing here? That really is, I think, the European Avengers. But Giorgia Meloni's role in this is like if the Winter Soldier didn't go back to being Bucky and just stayed the Winter Soldier but was allowed to be in the Avengers. That's a villain. That's like a real-life bad guy. What the fuck is she doing there? That's crazy. Giorgia Meloni decided to swing by the White House like a goddamned undecided voter, just trying to hear out both sides here like Ken Bones style. You know what I mean? In her fucking dumb red sweater. Oh, okay. And it was so funny because when they had I don't know, they talked for 20, 30 minutes. They had this televised meeting. And when it was finally Georgia's turn to talk, first of all, she's such a good speaker, but she's just so damn aggressive because she's a damn Italian. Man, she didn't want to be there. There's no way she wanted to be there. I've never seen, I don't know if it's because she's Italian and so by nature she's just very, very expressive. But if you go back and look, Trump is like, and Georgia, I would love it if you said a few words. And then she, turns her mic on and she starts saying shit and she's flipping her hair all around. I don't know if she had extensions or just like a really bad haircut. I don't know what it was. I really didn't like her hair at all. I thought it looked corny. Hey, you're the fucking president or the prime minister, whatever the fucking, you're the pizza minister of Italy, and you couldn't, I don't know, her hair just bothered me. Well, by the second that she was done talking, her eyes rolled into the back of her head. She and then it's hard to slam the mic off button, but she certainly did. There was a lot of oomph And I'm fucking done talking. Fucking not doing this anymore. I don't think she wanted to be there. I don't think she did. Keir Starmer and Emmanuel Macron, I think two of the most staunch defenders of Ukraine. I mean, Keir Starmer, how long has it been since he's been like a year? I don't remember. When did Rishi Sunak go away? It's easier to remember when Liz Truss went away because she was the PM for a fucking week. For a week, and then they were like, what we miss Boris, what is this? And so then they brought in Rishi Sunak, and then I got the timeline on Keir Starmer, I don't remember, but like Keir Starmer's biggest moment on the public stage since he took office in the UK was actually the last time that Zelensky was in the United States, and he got fucking jumped in the Oval Office by Marco Rubio and JD Vance and Donald Trump on national television, right, on global television. And then as soon as Zelensky left the U.S., it was Macron and it was Giorgia Meloni and it was Keir Starmer, but specifically Keir Starmer, who like put an arm around Zelensky, and they're like, fuck America. We are going to do anything that we can to protect you, right? And to protect your people. And so there was like a 2 or 3 day span where Keir Starmer was like the shit. And then the Pope died. And then that was the only thing that then Keir Starmer went back to being kind of like a knucklehead. He's just funny. He's just way too cartoonish. Like Boris Johnson was cartoonish in the way that he acted like a cartoon. Keir Starmer to me is like when as an American you think of like the stereotypical British person. Yes, quite. He's just, it's so funny listening to all of these people speak in such a distinguished way. And so like there's just like a gravel in their voice that is just, it really, there's an impact to it, right? Everybody's talking like this. We gotta get a damn ceasefire. We gotta, all these people need to stop losing their lives from flying drones into motherfucking houses. And then Keir Starmer, I thank you, Mr. President. I don't fucking know. I could have done a better accent there, but it just sounded so damn cartoonish, and I actually laughed out loud when Keir Starmer started talking, because for a moment I forgot what he sounded like and just how damn British he really is. It was just so funny. And as I'm taping this, we don't actually know what they ended up talking about in the closed door Oval Office meeting. We have no idea. But they did all give Trump a lot of credit for even holding these talks in the first place. Security guarantees was really what stood out here. Security guarantees, every single person that made a comment at this like little round table, which everybody did, for like everybody got to do like 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes of, saying their piece. Every single one of them mentioned security guarantees. This has been something that has been in the Russia-Ukraine zeitgeist for a little over a year now, as we've inched closer to like, okay, maybe there's going to be some resolution. And essentially it's been like Article 5 adjacent. We will put boots on the ground, like peacekeepers in the eastern reaches of Ukraine. The French, the German, the British, the Italians, the Americans, maybe the Americans, because that's been something that Trump has always been super wishy-washy on. I don't even think, someone can correct me on this, I don't even remember if Biden was really that interested in the idea of putting American troops in Ukraine under the guise of them like peacekeeping the region, right? So for Trump to like kind of be like, maybe, I don't think it's going to happen. I think he's going to look at it and say, well, this is in your backyard, and so I think this is actually your problem, Italy and Germany and France and England. I think this is actually your guys' problem. It's not really ours, despite the fact that in some way Russia is also in our backyard here in the United States, just because you just had the meeting in, I almost said Arkansas, you just had the meeting in Alaska. It's like, well, if it's January, talk about a land bridge connecting the two continents, yeah, I mean, we're sort of maybe in our backyard too, but okay. I'd be shocked if he did it. I don't know. It's very, very bizarre. Very bizarre. I don't know. Did Zelensky seem happy? Well, he didn't get his ass reamed in the Oval Office this time. That did not happen. There was a reporter who was like, hey, I see you wearing a suit this time. You look great. And Zelensky, and you talk about gravel in someone's voice. Yes, I see you're wearing the same suit as last time. I change and you not. everybody laughed. I was like, yeah, get his ass, Vladimir. He's a comedian once upon a time. Good for him. It was just so serious. It was so bizarre to see so many world leaders in the White House at one time. Like, so many consequential world leaders in the White House at one time. I was literally, like, looking outside. I'm in fucking Chicago. What is it, 1,500 miles away to D.C.? I don't know, just ballpark. I have no idea. I was, like, looking outside just at, like, American air. I was looking at Lake Michigan. And I was like, it's crazy that I'm in the same country right now as Keir Starmer and Emmanuel Macron and fucking George Maloney, all these people. It was just so bizarre to me, the same way I did when Putin, like in the span of a week, not even a week, 3 days, all of those people plus Vladimir Putin were in the United States. That's crazy to me. Like, that's like when SZA and Kendrick were playing at Soldier Field like a month and a half ago, and I was like, holy shit, like I'm a mile away from Kendrick Lamar and SZA right now. Like, that's crazy. Like, Adam Friedland was in Chicago today. I know for a fact the exact location that he was at, and I was looking in that cardinal direction. I was like, holy shit, Adam Friedland is over there. Like, I was like, whoa, like Georgia Maloney is right here. Like, this is the closest I'll ever be to Keir Starmer. Like, how crazy is that? It's wild. Super duper wild. And then where does it go from here? Well, this is the point I was going to make earlier, where I just wonder, like, it's not like performative peace talks, but it is performative if there's no ceasefire. And Trump kind of slid in there at the end. He was like, well, I've solved a lot of wars without there being a ceasefire. And so maybe we don't need one. Well, just to reference the thing that I said earlier, you haven't ended dick nor balls. Within the next, like, 4 months, it's, like, pretty well documented that Israel and Iran are going to start blasting again. That's just not over. I don't know if Trump, I mean, there's no chance that he has not received that intelligence. There's no way. If me, guys sitting at home, this sounds so fucking stupid for me to be like, listen, I know this is going to happen. There is, like, leaked plans that this shit's going to happen. The same way that there are leaked plans that Trump wants to fucking attack Mexico and he wants to go after all of these cartels unless they, like, keep extraditing cartel members to the United States so that we can prosecute them and so that we can jail them and so that we can send them to fucking alligator Alcatraz, right? We've already, as a country, been surveilling the shit out of Mexico for how long? Like, flying drones into airspace that we're absolutely not allowed to fly drones in, like conducting surveillance in the fucking jungles and shit like that. Well, not in Mexico. I guess that would be more like South America. But Mexico specifically, yeah, I guess we're going to start blasting in Mexico within the next couple of weeks, months. It's unknowable when, but that is something that's been talked about. Project 2025. They tried to deny that this was going to think, well, let me just get back on the road here. It was very serious. It was very, like, it was obvious. This sounds so dumb, dude. I'm sorry. But, like, I thought we were going to be, like, goofing around. All these people were, I thought Zelensky formed this massive European coalition to accompany him to the United States just as, like, backup so that he didn't get bullied, so that he didn't get his fucking underwear pulled over his head in the Oval Office again and, like, gets, like, a fucking noogie and then his head gets shoved in the toilet and they give him a swirly and shit like that. And they stick some toilet paper in, like, the back of his shoe so when he walks, you know what I mean? I thought that that's why he was bringing all of these European leaders with him. But then, like, you see them all arriving and you see them all sitting down and you're like, whoa, this is, like, some really serious shit. I mean, they're trying to solve a war. You know, so it makes complete sense. But I don't know. I just wish maybe what's the take here? I don't know. Maybe Trump should have lightened it up a little bit and brought somebody funny. I don't know. To make us all like some comedy relief. I think maybe that's what it is Trump should have brought like since he couldn't use Zelensky as a punching bag, maybe he should have used like, I don't know if it was this round table. And, I'd also like to get a few words from the alderman of the local 87th district of Sesame Street. Kermit, would you like to say a few words?
Yes, Mr. President. Thank you very much for extending a helping hand to all of us in these trying times. And me personally, I would just like to say,
I don't know. There's got to be something here, right? Kermit at the table with all of these people. There's got to be something. And I'm just not fucking thinking of it. I can't think of it off the top of my head. So let's move on. It's over. That's it. All right. I guess we're done talking about this. Copinghoursubs@gmail.com. Spelled phonetically. Damn it. That could have been so good. Spelled phonetically. Email available in the description. Wherever it is that you listen to this program. Lot of good emails this week. Unfortunately, not really unfortunately, but like all of them were just like you guys writing fan fiction about that guy from the last episode. And if you listen to the last episode, you know what I'm talking about. A lot of you guys sent in paragraphs of like final destination scenarios for this guy. And when that's a bulk of the, I'm not gonna read those on the show. For my own personal like haha enjoyment, I read them. Thank you all. That guy definitely. It sucks that he doesn't realize how hard he got jumped in the email section or in the email in the email inbox. Although I guess you guys did do a good job engaging in the YouTube comments and the Spotify comments, being like, "What the fuck is that guy's deal?" So thank you all for that. I just feel bad because this. I guess I didn't really want to talk about it, but the only thing I want to say is like, I guess I didn't do a good job of expressing how funny I thought that it was. I didn't really think of it as like Jacob, aka Rusty Bucket, sent me a text. And he was like, "Fuck this guy," and blah blah blah. And I was like, "It's just funny. It's so ridiculous that it's funny." Like, I don't know, like 2 weeks ago, I made an offhand throwaway comment where I spent 10 seconds talking about how I think the Subway Hot Takes series is hack shit, and I don't think it's good content. And a guy, I spent 10 seconds saying that, and a guy spent 10 minutes writing a comment talking about how much of an asshole I was. I was like, it's so ridiculous that it was just funny to me. But okay, whatever. Okay, let's do some emails. This one comes into us from Jacqueline. Jacqueline, welcome back to the show. Subject line, the Grit and Grind Grizzlies. Hey, Nick, a.k.a. the girl's girl of NBA YouTube. Mike Connolly, Marc Gasol, Rudy Gay, Tony Allen, Pistons legends, Tayshaun Prince and John Lure. Motherfucking Zach Randolph. Truly a team of all teams. As a Pistons fan, they had the same energy that all the best Detroit squads had and currently have. What are your thoughts about this squad and that era as a whole? I got into them because my career character in 2K13 got drafted by them back when the game still drafted you. Parenthetically, bring that shit back, Ronnie. Do you have a My Career soft spot team? Also, shout out to that 2K13 Golden State team. Take it easy, Big Hoss. And then she also included what appears to be an AI-generated selfie of Jeffrey Epstein with the caption, "Shout out to the ones who never switched up," with prayer hands emojis. In Thailand right now, back in the game. Thank you for this artificial intelligence, this AI-generated shit post, Jacqueline. Thank you very, very much for this. If you used Grok, it's so funny to me that if you used Grok to generate this, you just poisoned like a 3-bedroom household in the city of Memphis. A family will die because you wanted to send me a picture of Jeffrey Epstein being like, "What's up, world? I'm still here and I'm still well, all right. Let's just do your email instead of getting all wild and crazy. What do I think of the Grit and Grind Grizzlies? I think you nailed it, actually, in the sense that I don't want to call them like Diet Detroit, but truly like the beat the fuck out of you mentality to me will always be associated with Detroit. Memphis has always kind of been like a brother in arm in that way. And the Grit and Grind guys, I mean, the ones you named here, Rudy Gay, Tony Allen, Zach Randolph, I mean, no way. Imagine if like KG was on that team. They would have all gotten manslaughter charges. No way. That's scary hours, for sure. That's real scary shit. You could put Marc Gasol in there. He was just huge, but he was a nice guy. Mike Connolly, that guy's he's a killer, but he's not like you know what I mean? He's not a killer in the way that everybody else here is. Because they're like real killers. Mike Connolly's like a basketball killer. He's a really nice guy. Didn't he win hasn't he won the sportsmanship award like 100 times? He's such a nice guy. Not this season that just wrapped up, but the season before. When I think was it the Mavs that beat the Timberwolves in the playoffs? I might have that wrong. But like that whole playoff run, we were like, holy shit, is Minnesota, is this going to work? It was their last run with Cat, right? And Mike Connolly said to the team, he was like, I don't give a shit about like anything other than me winning a championship. He's like, please do this for me. And they just like rallied around him because he's an awesome guy. I'm being hyperbolic, but like that is what he said. He's like, please do this for me. I do not have that much longer in this league. Please, I'm begging you. I want to play for a championship. And then they ended up losing. What do I think about this? I mean, Tony Allen, I remember as a kid, I used to say all the time that Tony Allen is the best defender in the history of basketball. And then it was, I think, Kobe's farewell season that he like signed a jersey or a pair of shoes or something for Tony Allen. And he wrote on there, like, to the best defender I've ever played in my life. And it was really one of the more validating things I'd ever seen from like an NBA player, where I was like, holy shit. So the thing, like, it validating in the sense that it was like, it was maybe a better way to phrase it is like, it was one of the most like, holy shit, I know ball moments that I've ever experienced, where I was like shocked at how much ball that I know. Cause I was like, wait, if I'm saying the same thing as Kobe, then I feel like I'm, you know what I mean? So that felt really good. Tony Allen has always been one of my favorite players, literally ever. Zach Randolph just scares the shit out of me. The same way that Kevin Garnett does, you know, but it like in a really fun and endearing way. Do I have a soft spot in my heart for any like team that I could play for in 2K? No, I really don't. I don't know. I'm trying to think like if there's ever been a team in any game, like any 2K, where I've been like, I have to play on this team. No, I do agree with you on the getting drafted thing. I hate being able to pick your own team. I think that sucks. It's so boring. So like what I do, because technically I still don't pick my own team, I literally close my eyes and just like hold the down button or the up button and just like let it cycle through. And I'll close my eyes for like 20 seconds. So that way I have no concept of like where it is in the list. You know what I mean? And then I just hit X. And then wherever I am, that's where I am. And that's the team that I'm playing for. So in some ways it is, not in some ways, it just is still random. But yeah, because I just think it's really dumb to be able to pick the team that you play for. 2K, I just don't have that much nostalgia for really sports games in general, honestly. Like, I always play them, and I had a lot of nostalgia, I guess, for the process of purchasing. Was it 2K16, I think? It might have been 2K16. That was the year that there were, like, 3 variants of the cover. So you could get the Steph version, the Harden version, and then it was the Anthony Davis version. I think those were the 3 players. All that I remember was that I pre-ordered the Steph version from a GameStop at the Lansing Mall, well, in Lansing. And then like a day before it came out, I got to go pick up my copy. And there's a picture of me. It's not worth explaining. So that was very fun for me because it was the first 2K I ever bought for myself. And it was the one with Steph on the cover. And I was losing my mind. I was so excited. But like I couldn't tell you any memories I had from that game. I just really liked 2K at the time. I'm the type of person that hates the narrative storytelling of 2K, my career. It was really fun when it was first introduced just as like a new thing. But like all I really wanted was just the process of playing in college and like playing in high school and then going to college, and like that part of the journey is really fun, but like this grander narrative I always thought was really annoying, and most of the time I thought it was corny. I've since learned that I'm actually not the minority, but it is actually split more down the middle than what I thought it was. Where there are people who like some stories that they've told in my career for 2K, people like really fucked with. I just think they all suck, and I like to skip the cutscenes, and as soon as the story part of it's done, I'm just like, I think we're all better off, because I don't think it's interesting. They have to pick like a racially neutral voice, but it's like, that's not like, if I do a face scan in 2K, you know what I mean? And the racially ambiguous voice that they choose is on my fucking face. You know what I mean? I don't look at it and say like, I could sound like that. I look at that and say like, I'm literally Tyler Hero. You know what I mean? And I don't like looking at myself talking like that. I know how I talk, and you know how I talk. It's not like that. It's not like that. It's ridiculous. And boring. Mostly just boring. I would prefer to like, I don't know, make up stories in my head and shit like that. I'm really trying to give you something here. I have nostalgia for NBA 2K5. That was the first 2K I ever had on the PS2. Ben Wallace on the cover. That was the game that I found out that Magic Johnson, my brother and I, one morning we're playing 2K5. So this would have been like 2004, maybe 2005. And we found out that Magic went to Michigan State. We had no idea. Grew up Michigan State fans, you know. Dog, it was so early in the morning. My dad was still asleep. We woke our dad up to be like, did you know that Magic Johnson went to Michigan State? He was like, yes, fuck off. Go to sleep. Leave me alone. But it was very exciting for us. That's the nostalgia that I have for 2K, is for something like that. Nostalgia for like Luke Babbitt. You know, you think about the players that were just really good in 2K, but like weren't good at anything else. Luke Babbitt comes to mind. I think I've talked about that one a lot, though. Monte Ellis was amazing in real life. Amazing in real life. But in 2K was like real freak nasty shit. Luke Babbitt's probably the best example that I can think of off the top of my head. And I think that's all I'm going to have for you, because otherwise I'm just going to be scraping the bottom of the barrel thinking about dumb things about 2K. And that I don't know. Sorry, Jacqueline. copingoursubs@gmail.com, spelled phonetically. Email available in the description. Wherever it is that you listen to this program. This one comes into us from Matthew. Matthew, what's up? This is such a weird segment. This email is going to be weird, but I love it. I think this is a fun one, but I don't know how this is going to play as like for like listening. Shay and Cade look minimizing. That's the subject line. Hello, Nick. Quick thought. Do people not care about Shay or Cade because number 2 is not that good of a jersey number? Not sure if that's a hot take, but I really don't like number 2 on anybody but Kawhi across sports, except maybe like Derek Jeter. What jersey numbers would looks max Shay or Cade? What are your numbers that make people look better or worse across sports? It's different for each sport, in my opinion. Obviously, this is opinion-based, but I think it's a fun thought experiment. Personally, I think 22 or 33 would look good on both Cade and would look... Okay, so 22 and 33 would both look good on Cade, and 7 for Shay. Parenthetically, fuck Chet Holmgren. And that's the entire email. And I gotta tell you, this is the kind of stuff that I think about all the time. First of all, I want to say I agree with you up front about... I don't know if it's 22 and 33, or you said that for Cade. I actually would flip it where I think 7 would look good on Shay. I 100% agree with you. I think Shay could pull off double numbers. So whether it was 00, could he do 00? Yeah. I think 0 actually, flat 0 would actually look pretty sick on him. 00, yeah, I think he could do that. 11, yes. 22, yes. 33, we're getting a little dicey. I think he could do it. 44, weird. That's such a weird number. But that's like, what's fun about a number like that, like this is where I think Luka has nailed 77. Because it's a number that nobody else will wear, but it is so like uniquely him. You know what I mean? Like that number really is attached to his identity. When you think about number 77, like your brain just kind of goes to Luka. You know what I mean? It's his. Where like a number like 23, you're going to think Jordan, you're going to think LeBron, and there's really nobody else. That's his number. When you think about number 3, I don't know. Dwayne Wade. I saw a homeless woman wearing a Dwayne Wade jersey, a Bulls Dwayne Wade jersey the other day. And it was about an hour earlier. So on the way to Target, saw a homeless guy wearing an Earl Thomas jersey. Whoa. You talk about a guy you don't want. Mount Rushmore of guys you don't want to fuck with. A homeless guy wearing an Earl Thomas jersey? Hell no. No way. Now, he could have gotten that anywhere. He might not even know who Earl Thomas was. Are you going to take that chance? I'm certainly not. Well, actually, what's the take here? If I'm saying I'm not going to fuck with that guy, but I would fuck with the homeless person wearing a Dwayne Wade jersey, well, I'm not going to fuck with a homeless person. I'm going to leave them alone. I'm just saying, here's, I think, the take is like, there was one time there was an instance where a homeless guy like catcalled Maddie, and I checked him on it, and it was probably the most like masculine thing I've ever done for her, because she swooned, and she's like, my hero. Felt really good for me, but it was actually just because it really pissed me off. And of course, I'm protective of her, but I was like, shut the fuck up. And it felt really good because this sounds like so self-aggrandizing and fucking, is that the term for it? Or I'm like tooting my own horn. I'm like, listen to like how heroic I am. No, I don't know. It's the thing that happened. He was like, oh, I guess I'll shut the fuck up then. And I was like, nice. That was good for me. because my line would have otherwise been, if he said anything else, I would have been throwing hands, right? And I would have put him in a headlock, and I would have been like, is this really where you want to die today? Is on Rush Street in front of a fucking Target, bro? Shut the fuck up. But if the guy was wearing an Earl Thomas jersey, I'm not going to, why am I doing this? I'm not going to kill a homeless person. Well, I'm definitely not if he's wearing an Earl Thomas jersey. Number 29. Love that for that guy. But number 3, I don't know, Ben Wallace. Is there another number 3 that I'm just not thinking of? I don't know. When you think about 34, Hakeem, Chuck, Shaq had a spell with 34. Was that Orlando? Was he 32 or 34 in Orlando? Was he 34 in Los Angeles? Is that what it was? Yeah, I think that's right. I think it was 32. I literally don't give a shit. It's Shaq. I don't care. Well, that's not to disparage Shaq, by the way, as a player. Not going to do that at all. Let's get back on the road here. Can I push back a little bit on what you said about people not caring about either of them? I wouldn't say that people don't. Well, if I agreed with you on it, it would be people don't quote-unquote care about Cade because up until this most recent season, there's been nothing to care about unless you're a Pistons fan or unless you're like a real hoops junkie, like a real hoops sicko, and you just like watching guys play good basketball. Cade plays really good basketball, but it wasn't until this previous season that he was actually doing it on a winning team. You know what I mean? And then in the playoffs, and this was through no fault of his own, but like the second scoring option for Detroit in the playoffs was like by committee. And so if it wasn't Cade, it was just kind of like, fucking hopefully someone can go get a basket. And unfortunately, because of the way that we view the NBA, that then reflects poorly on Cade Cunningham. I don't remember what his assist numbers looked like in the playoffs, but I imagine they were, I don't know. Actually, I don't want to say they were down from the regular season. I honestly don't remember off the top of my head. Didn't he have a triple-double in the playoffs? I don't remember. Doesn't matter. But he's sick, nasty shit. With Shea, yeah, I mean, We've been slow cooking, marinating this take in the crock pot for the last few months that like people really don't care about them at all. Them as in Oklahoma City, but like, I mean, you could be one of the best teams that has ever played in the National Basketball Association on both ends of the floor. And you can be Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, who had like one of the most insane and efficient scoring seasons that we've literally ever seen in the NBA. People just kind of don't care. And I the way that we always talk about this is it actually is just a reflection of the way that the game is covered and the way that it's talked about and the different people that are pushed by the media. And right now that's not the young guys, right? Unless you're like Anthony Edwards and people are trying to shoehorn him into who's the face of the league, who's the future face of the league. You just don't really hear people talk about Shea that much. So I don't know if it's that people don't care about him, but it is a lot easier for people to hate on him than it is than anything else. But I think we covered the bases on what numbers. 6? Could he wear a 6? I think he could wear a 6. I think 2 works for both of them perfectly. I don't know. What's another number that Cade could wear? Well, just to stay, because I think Cade should just be 2. Shea, I think, would be cool in like, you talk about the double numbers and Luka wearing 77, and you think about numbers that are like identifiable for like, like somebody's identity is a number in some sense. What if Shea just went super weird and was like 19? I think that could, you know what I mean? Like, I think that could work. 21 comes to mind. I don't know why. I think it would look weird, but there's already a 2 in it. So you're just adding a 1, but it's not 3. Shea could wear a jersey that has 2 plus a 1, but it can't be 3. Does that make sense? It has to be 21. But like 19, 16 could be cool. 17 could be cool. I don't know. For context, I don't know if I've ever talked about this before. I think I have to some extent, but when I played football, I liked to change my number every single year up until I got into like from 8th grade to 11th grade. I was the same number every single year. And if I had been in school and played football my senior year, I would have stayed the same number. The first year I ever played football, I was number 54 because of Brian Urlacher. I was 9. And I was a quarterback. So I was number 54 as a quarterback. And then on defense, I played corner. So 54, very bizarre number to be wearing. My second year, I wore number 23, again, as a quarterback because of Devin Hester. And then my third year, I actually wore number 2. So I got into like the real quarterback numbers. Okay, all right, there we go. So it's number 2. And then after that, I was 14. And that was it. I never looked back from 14. That was always my number. So I always wore, I wore 14 the most. I never wore 4. But that is another number that I've always kind of held close to my heart. I think some of that is just because it's Maddie's number. But I've always liked 4 for me. But when you talk about, actually, this is a good example. When you talk about numbers being somebody's identity, we talked about this like a week or two ago when we did the segment was called like the KD Eras Tour or something like that. That's what I put in the title. And a little comment that I made in there was one of my favorite like iterations of KD was him in Brooklyn. Some of it is literally because he changed his number, and that can be really jarring. That can be really wild. Like when LeBron, for example, when he went to Miami and how I go from 6 to 23 like I'm LeBron. Literally, he changed his number. He changed it to 6, and it was like, whoa! And then he went back to Cleveland, he was 23, and then he went to Los Angeles, and he was 6 again. Until he wasn't. And then he was 20, wait. Was he 23? And then AD, how did that work? Sorry for the silence. I'm really trying to think about this. I don't want to look this up. Did he go to LA as 23? And then they got Anthony Davis, and then he changed to 6. And then didn't AD change his number, and so LeBron went back to 23? Is that how it happened, or did he just go to... That had to be what it was. He's worn both numbers in Los Angeles is what matters, right? And so KD going from 35 to 7 was so crazy, but it looked so cool on the uniforms, and it just worked for him. It just really made sense. It was risky, but it really paid off for KD. So again, weird email. I don't know if anybody else, I mean, clearly the emailer and I here do, Matthew and I here do. I like that one. I like that one a lot. Let's do another email, and then we'll start to wrap up the show. Oh, really gotta roll the dice here. Because there are just a couple that I wanted to do. I said I was maybe gonna read this one. I don't remember if there's anything like to really talk about in it. Subject line: my girlfriend's first hour of cope. This one comes into us from Hunter. Hunter, what's up? Good afternoon. I hope you and the family enjoyed your weekend. I have spent the last week or so on vacation in Charleston, South Carolina, with my girlfriend of almost 3 years. Well, it's a semi-vacation. We plan on moving there after we graduate next May, so we are scoping some apartments and getting a better feel of the area. Needless to say, the 17-hour road trip was the perfect scenario to introduce her to the show. Cool Guy Weekend Kicks Off was the episode. Now, I don't mean this, but fuck off, man, for starting with the meal prep segment because I'm immediately getting glares. Right, okay. So that was part of the reason I wanted to read this. First of all, Cool Guy Weekend did already happen, but Cool Guy Nick is back again. The Clown Prince of the Alt Chill is back, so it's a good time for me to read this. Right, so this is why I wanted to read this. I'm going to spend way too much time on this, bro. Why? He does not include why he got glares for that. Look, I understand that for you at home when you're sending in emails, a lot of the time it's going to be impossible for you to identify the small thing that I will hyperfixate on. But I swear to God, it's always the things that I hyperfixate on that do not get any explanation at all. And it's one of those things that, like, you can send in an email and let me know, but it's not like I'm going to read it on the show because there's not that much follow-up to really have about it. But, like, I would have loved if you were like, I got glares because she's asked me to meal prep for her before, and I just don't want to do it. I get glare. I got glares because she meal preps and I tease her for it. I got glares for this because, oh, that's such a nice thing to do for his significant other, and why aren't you doing that for me? Is it something like that? It's undamn knowable, and I would have loved to have known. You say, fuck off, man. That's aggressive language. It made me feel like I did something wrong when I'm doing something actually really, really nice. Doing something very, very nice. So here's what I'm going to do. Okay? I'm going to give you a little recipe. I'm going to give you a little something, something. And then you can make this for your girlfriend. Don't meal prep this because I don't think this will hold well, like, in the fridge over, like, the span of a few days. But, Hunter, I'm going to give you a little recipe and you can make some dinner for your girlfriend, okay? So here's what I did the other day. Again, not meal prep, just nice little quick dinner, okay? Ingredients. This is the Motown Noah mac and cheese. This is the Motown Noah mac. You know what I mean? Go to the store, get elbow macaroni, little bit of salt. You're going to need evaporated milk. You're going to need an entire bag of dealer's choice on what cheese you want to use. I went sharp cheddar and on round 2 on the last grocery trip, I'm toning it down a little bit. I'm going like mild cheddar, just a little bit different cheese. Whole bag of cheddar, shredded cheese, and then another bag of mozzarella. Okay, that's it. You get a little bit of butter too if you want. Okay, boil those noodles. As soon as the water starts to boil, salt that water. Not too much salt, because if these noodles are too salty, it'll still be good, but it's a lot of potassium, and you can tell when there's a lot of salt. Just use a healthy amount. Eyeball it as best as you can, okay? I'm not talking about tablespoons, none of that shit. I eyeball everything, okay? Trial and error. Once that water is done boiling, strain the noodles. Put them back in the pot. Turn the oven to low heat. Dump that evaporated milk in there. Mix that up a little bit. Let that milk start to bubble a teensy tiny bit. If you want to put some butter in there, go disgusting, sick, nasty, freak style and put a little bit of butter in there. Again, eyeball it, depending on how many noodles you got in there, okay? Once you're done with that, whole bag of cheddar, all of it, all of that shredded cheddar, put it in there. Eyeball how much mozzarella you want to put in there. I went a quarter to about half the bag. It's a cheesy motherfucker. This is the Motown Noah Mac special, right? You're going to be mixing for a while. You need that shit to get nice and creamy. You need the milk to be completely gone, all right? Create a nice, thick, cheesy sauce in the pot. Now, I should have said this. While it's boiling, while the noodles are originally boiling, get some bacon going. Even if it's just the microwave bacon that you throw in, right? You can just buy bacon bits if you want, but we use bacon for other things, so we just have like actual bacon. Cook that bacon, put it in a Ziploc bag, just go nuts with it, and just break it all up until you have bacon bits, okay? Set that aside. Once you got this thick, cheesy sauce going, right? Should be looking real nice. Scoop it into some bowls. Put your little bacon bits on top. If you want a little bit of chives, freeze-dried chives on there, freeze-dried parsley or something, don't be afraid to drizzle that on there too. Matter of fact, I got a picture of what it looked like the other day. If you're watching today's episode, I'll show you what I made the other day. This is what it looked like. If it's looking like that, I don't know if you can really tell. That's the Motown Noah Mac. That's just not a good, the picture's just not, well, I can't, why am I tapping that like you're going to be able to? This is not working. This just is not working the way that I want it to. You can basically tell what's going on there. That's Motown Noah Mac and Cheese. Make that shit for her, bro. And then what's she going to give you glares for? You made her delicious mac and cheese. You know what I mean? Okay, let's get back to it. Now, I don't mean this, but fuck off, man, for starting with the meal prep segment because I immediately got glares. But for real, she was into it. And for some kids who hardly paid attention to history class in high school, we really appreciated the history lesson on the French and American involvement. The weed story, fucking brutal, man. Now, I was an A-B student and was always punctual, too. Good kid, you know? And I never smoked in high school. I do regularly now. But I think I genuinely would have crawled into a ball and cried and probably seized, honestly. That's like biggest fear type shit. Anyways, my girlfriend, Rachel, thoroughly enjoyed the show. We listened to the next 2 shows as well, and I think she's going to start listening by herself. Also, what a hostile email. Yeah. He's a piece of shit. Sports question because I don't have a take right now. Are the Brewers actually good? Fuck, bro. I don't know. You got a whole thing about the Brewers here. I don't know, bro. Yeah, they've had an insane streak going. Did that get broken yet? I know the most recent history just a couple nights ago, they were down 8-1. I think Mizrowski was on the bump too, and he just got shelled. He had no command at all. And he's 12 years old, so it's fine. He can have one bad night. The kid was a damn all-star this year. And they went down 8-1, and they still won the game. So all signs would indicate that it is in the air for Milwaukee this year. And that's kind of what baseball is. Like, it really is like a magical sport where either some years you just have it or you don't. And I know that sounds dumb. That really is every single sport. But I think about Major League Baseball and college basketball kind of in the same way, where like March Madness, literally anything can happen. You could drag your feet through the first 30 games of the season, but you just get hot in March, you know? Baseball, you just don't want to peak at the right time is all that it is, you know? And in baseball, it's like you could win 80 games in the first half of the season, but like if you suck between August and October, that's all that matters. That's literally all that matters. Was it the Mariners like 20 years ago that won like 124 games and then they lost and they didn't win a World Series? Do I have that right? It's something like that. The Mariners are super hot. They've been super hot for a while. I don't know. It seems like things are going well for Wisconsin sports right now. In some ways, that's too bad. Be honest with you. In some ways, I think that's too damn bad. But as long as the Packers stink a little bit, as long as they stink for the first game of the year against the Lions, and then at whatever other point we face them throughout the year, then I literally don't give a shit what happens to them. I would prefer if Jordan Love stays like fine. I just think anybody who tries to convince me, because he throws a nice deep ball, that he belongs in like the top 7 of quarterbacks, I just think they're crazy. I hate that conversation so much. Oh, right. And this was the other thing. Beautiful couple. Very, very beautiful couple. This guy is really good looking. This guy is dangerously good looking. Now, Bathroom Tom, a.k.a. Wizards fan Tom, a.k.a. Hot Tom. He's damn hot Tom. You know what I mean? So, like, that's Tom. I got to tell you, this guy could get into some damn trouble. Also, Rachel is my second favorite name for a girl. So this is a great couple. It's a great couple. My first favorite name, this isn't even, I'm not like pandering. She's not in the room. I don't need to say this. Maddie/Madison, favorite name for a girl. If and when we have a daughter, we already know what her name is going to be. It is not Maddie. It's not Madison. It's also not Rachel. But those are my 2 favorite names for girls. I love the name Rachel. Brilliant. Very, very beautiful couple. And then, whoa. MAGA Jared sent in an email. It is 10 p.m. MAGA Jared sent in an email at 9:56 with the subject line, "Done with yo pussy ass soy boy self." What is this? Is he saying, oh, he's just being tongue in cheek? All right, Jared, damn it. You sent this 4 minutes ago, so I'll read this because you don't send in that many emails anymore. How dare you settle for the most important yet underappreciated job in all of society, beta bitch. Okay, so he's referencing the emailer and that, but Jared, I really don't want to continue to shine a light on that guy. It was a funny thing that happened out of nowhere. And that's just kind of it. I'm so happy that you guys have like rallied around me. I don't think it's necessary. But I don't want this to come off as like I'm ungrateful. I seriously love like how nice people have been to me these last couple of days. But I just wish that it bothered me more than it did, so that it like could, you know what I mean? Like I wish people being so nice to me was like for a reason. It's not for no reason, but you get what I'm saying? Like, I wish this actually fucked with me so that I could see how loved I was. But instead, I'm just seeing how loved I am. And I'm kind of like, guys, it's okay. Like, fucking relax. So it's weird, but... All right, Jared, I'll keep reading your email. How dare you settle for the most important yet underappreciated job in all of society, beta bitch. I just had to say I feel bad for not engaging more because there's been so much to write in about. And you gave me multiple shout-outs last time and made Greg jealous. You haven't read his emails. But as I'm sure you can appreciate, I've been on one of the downswings of my undiagnosed but very obvious bipolar. Parenthetically, I don't get depressed. I just lose motivation. Jared, am I supposed to be reading this? Is this for me? Everybody, I'm gonna go 0 dark 30 for a second. I'm gonna skim the rest of the email to see if I should be reading this, or if I should like reach out to Jared and be like, "Are you good, bro? Are you good?" So, I guess somebody takes you to want to hear and explain what the most important job is. Okay, yeah. Okay. All right. He said at the... Here he is. Here's Jared. So, Jared, I'm not going to read this. This is more personal. I think this is kind of for you and me. So, I apologize for reading the first part of that. But again, you just sent this in as I'm taping the fucking show, so I had no idea. So, I apologize for that, dude. I hope you're let's get you through this, Jared. Whatever we got to do. How are you feeling about Zelensky being at the Oval Office? You probably fucking love that Putin was in Alaska. You probably like, you know how people go to like, this isn't a thing anymore, but like there was like memes from like during like the damn Yeezus tour, like the Life of Pablo world tour. People would like trap air in a Ziploc bag from a Kanye concert and like sell it on eBay. I bet MAGA Jared, as soon as Putin landed in damn Anchorage, Alaska, wherever MAGA Jared is in the world, in the United States, he probably bottled that fucking air and he's got it in his damn man cave. He's going to hang it somewhere. This is Vladimir Putin's air. I bet Jared loves Putin. I don't think he does, by the way. I have a decent pulse on where this guy is on some things. I don't think he's going to be a Putin guy. I would be Jared. Listen, I let the immigrant shit slide because your lived experience is a lot different from mine. Again, we're never going to agree on it. I do think you're wrong, but you also think that I'm super fucking wrong. But I just let that one be whatever, dude. I would be a little bit, and you hate, you so desperately want Trump to go down for the Epstein shit, which is great. I don't think you're going to be a Putin guy. But I also think that you're going to think that anybody who thinks that Putin is a Russian agent is you called me what, a soy boy, beta, cuck, lib, bitch here. I think you're going to say that about anybody who says that Trump is a Russian agent. I think but you don't like Putin. So two things in your instance can be true. But you did say at the end here, oh, and if you were a real man, you would give your number out in an episode. But as we've established, you're basically a gay. Cheers, dude. Thank you, Jared. What sucks about Jared is when I talk about wanting to give my number out to some people, Jared really is one of those people that I kind of want to give him my number. But, Jared, I don't know how to say this. Your episodes have played out in my comment section and in my inbox before. I don't want that guy to be able to reach me whenever. Because if it's 7:30 at night and I get a text, a very earnest text, where you're like, you're a fucking idiot and you want MS-13 members to not be deported and you don't think that they should end up in an El Salvadorian prison, Jared, I'm not gonna have time for that, and I don't think I don't think it's gonna work for us, brother. But I want to have a damn beer with you. I really do. But I don't know. I don't know if I can give you my number, but I really fucking want to. I really want to. But Jared, I don't know. We'll have to put a pin in it. Maybe I don't know. We'll see. We'll see, Jared. What else do I got for you guys today? Hey, let's do a quick recap. Matchweek 1 in the Premier League. We're back. We're so back. My fantasy team got fucking destroyed. It was not good. It was a bloodbath. I did not do good at all. Richarlison was on my bench. Oh my God. What did he score twice against? Was it Burnley that they played? Sick to my stomach. Sick to my stomach. I drafted him at the end because I was like, I need an attacker and like, whatever. Like, I have the budget. I'll just get him because I know him, you know? But I know him as a guy who stinks and who doesn't smile. I'm just like, he plays for the Spurs, like, whatever. Fucker scores 2 goals. So mad. Especially because I'm already bottom table. Like, I'm if I could get relegated out of this fantasy league, which is just a public league, I don't know any of these people. I just wanted to play fantasy soccer and I didn't have anybody to play with. On my fucking bench, bro. I didn't get Holland either, by the way. It's $14.5 million to buy. No way. I don't have that kind of budget. No shot, bro. So let's go down the list. Listen, I'm balled out, bro. I watched so much ball this weekend. I got balls coming out of my face. Like out of my ears, out of my eyes. I'm balled out. I simply cannot watch any more ball. It's going to be impossible for me to recap all this shit. Well, the first one, I'll get this out of the way. Leicester City is fucking in the dumpster. Not in the Premier League, but if it wasn't losing to Huddersfield Town in the Carabao in penalties, which was, we got an email from a guy who is a supporter of Huddersfield Town. How the fuck is that a thing? How is there anybody out there who supports League One? Fuck off. No way. There's no way. Yeah, no. Got an email from one of those guys. I'm happy for him. The truth is whoever won that game was just going to be food for fucking Sunderland. So, have fun with that. Leicester is also about to sell El Canoes. Sounds like he might go to Crystal Palace for like $30 million. Fucking, oh my God. Fine. Literally the one guy that I was like, please just keep one good guy. Please just keep one good player. Because right now, if it's not El Canoes, like Winks is probably their best midfielder, but he also doesn't want to be there at all, and he hates the fans, and he hates the club, and he just hates everything. He does not want to be at Leicester. So I really hope that they sell him because his body language fucking stinks. Their best player outside of that is a 16-year-old. Like a freshly 16-year-old kid. Jeremy Monga. He did score his first goal. Excuse me. Against who did they just lose to on Saturday? Preston. It's such an uninspiring club, but I cannot stop watching. I can't quit them, and I never will. I just love it so much. I'm so passionate about the damn Foxes, but they are so uninspiring. And the board is a bunch of clowns, and we have a good player. Let's just sell them, and which is fine because you need the money because you're about to get fined and you're about to have a huge points deduction. All this bullshit, right? But it's like, will you also please buy anybody? Oh, we bought Oliver Skip. He stinks. He's actually terrible. Fass Wood still at the club for some reason. I don't care. I very deeply care. I'm very deeply invested in what they do at any given point. But I'm so to lose to Preston, whatever, bro. Whatever. These points will matter when the deduction hits, and if they finish mid-table in the fucking championship, I'm not expecting them to get promoted, but Jesus Christ, man. Okay, and then if we move to the actual Premier League, well, you talk about teams that Leicester has sold players to, / like being food for Sunderland. Whoa. So Leicester sold Mads Hermansen. I talk about Mads for the last however many months, even before he got sold, as like, dude, he was one of the 3 to 5 best keepers in the Prem last year, and they sold him for fucking peanuts, like for no reason, because West Ham art of the dealed the shit out of Leicester, and they got. And then he starts for West Ham against Sunderland. Was it 3-0? What the huh? So that was pretty bizarre. I guess we should have started at Anfield. What beautiful tributes to Diogo Jota across all of Europe, by the way, for this past weekend. Really touching stuff, but mainly none other than what happened at Anfield. And it's such a bizarre phenomenon, honestly, to have a player pass away. Because, like, I don't know, we as fans, you're not really thinking about the players grieving this loss. Like, it's one thing, like, if you're City right now, Jack Grealish isn't dead. He's just at Everton. You'll just get to see him again. He's not dead. But, like, the loss and the grief that they must have, like, starting a season without a guy who's, like, supposed to be there, and he's just not, and those emotions just are so apparent and very clearly still raw. And it was, again, such beautiful and touching tributes. And Mo Salah scored. That was really, this is another take, just to sort of paint this thing with broader strokes. Biggest takeaway from, like, opening weekends around Europe. Mo Salah scored. Haaland scored twice. Damn, Harry Kane scored for Bayern. Lamine Yamal scored. I was watching that game. I watched, like, the tail end of it. I got to see the Yamal goal. I don't know. That City game was insane. Listen, anytime Erling Haaland and playing Wolves food, but also just like opening day, he scored every single opening day that he's played for City. Whoops. What a sick, disgusting, nasty freak he is. Because that first goal he had, and by the way, for a guy who scored 2 goals in the first game of the year, again, he, like, wasn't even the story. It was, like, all of the other guys. So there's no Phil Foden and there's no Rodri, right? So, okay, fucking Reinders, bro. The first goal that Haaland scored Reinders got the hockey assist. I think, what did he pass it up to, like Rico Lewis or something, and then just boop right in front of the net, and then boop back in the net, Erling Haaland. That's the freest shit in the world. I was losing my mind. Yes! 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 They're back. Revenge tour starts now. They're back. So jazzed, dude. And then the second thing that Reinders did was just score. He just scored, which was sick. And then the third goal that City had, which, again, went to Erling Haaland. Oh, what a setup ball from Reinders. Oh, nasty freak shit. Because all you got to do, as soon as you get inside of the 18-yard box, right? Where's Haaland? Just find him. And then that guy has a 10-yard buildup and then fires it into the back corner. What are you supposed to do about that if you're a keeper? Untie your shoes and just fucking... And I don't even know why I said untie your shoes. For what? I don't know, because it's like if that ball hits you, it's like you're going to get hit by a damn car. Your shoes are going to fly off. I don't know why I said that. I don't know what the fuck I was talking about. Basically, the sentiment is just like, get the fuck out of the way because you're not going to stop it. No, he did not. Who was the fourth one? Cherokee? Chekri. What's that kid's name? I'll learn it. I've just been reading about him a lot, and everybody's really excited for him. My ass, he's 21. It's like the bench warmers. I am 12, written in fucking crayon. He's not 21. The guy looks like he's 30. That's insane. So shout out to City. They're back. Apparently I'm back. I'm back. I'm so fucking back. I love them so much. Oh, I love City so much, dude. Love them. And they might have robbed. Was it Milan? Where did they get Reinders from? Holy shit. Picked him up in fantasy immediately after the game. Oh my God. Because he had been the talk of the town, but I just didn't know him. I don't watch Serie A. Is that where he came from? I'm not watching that shit. I don't know. Oh my God. Whoa. Kevin De Bruyne, who? You know what I mean? Oh my God. There's a fucking midfielder if I've ever seen one. A great passing midfielder if I've ever seen one. Respect to Kevin De Bruyne, though. What else did I watch? Off the top of my head, you talk about guys and whose names I'm just confused on how to pronounce them. Gyökeres. Gyökeres. Is it S? Is it Esh? Do you say the G? I'm going to say Gyökeres. And then over the next few months, I'll probably say it 5 different ways. Broadcasters in their damn racket have said it a million different ways. So Gyökeres is how I'm going to say it here, right? Well, you spend the last few weeks and all you're hearing from punk-ass Arsenal fans is like, oh, this guy just scores goals for fun, and oh, we'll be back at the top of the table after this season, and oh, the title is coming back to Arsenal, back to the Gunners. And then, whoops, listen, it's important in any sport not to overreact after one weekend of opening games. It's very important not to do that. But if we were to entertain the idea of doing that on this show in this particular instance, I would say, ha, and then I would follow that up with like 18 other ha-has. You know what I mean? Maybe put in a little Lamau, maybe a Raffle, maybe an LOL. If I'm feeling quirky, I'll put a little winky face. You couldn't see because I'm wearing Tom Ford sunglasses, by the way. Did a little wink there. Little ha-ha-ha, rip bozo. How does that fucking taste? He stunk. I don't know,
By the way,
Arsenal won the game, but I don't know, and I'm earnestly asking this because I don't know. Is this sort of like when Haaland transferred to City? Not to make everything about fucking Erling Haaland, but you get this really talented striker, this really talented goal scorer up front, and what City's challenge was at first with Haaland was like, we don't need him to adapt to the way that we play. We need to adapt to the way that he plays because he's such a talented player, right? Like, we need to fit around his puzzle instead of making his piece fit into ours. So, like, again, it's one game. But is that what the challenge here is? Because he just, like, wasn't really getting touches. I don't think he had any shots. I think he put up like a damn Tony Snell stat line. Like, he didn't fucking do anything. He was just out there running around. And then he eventually got subbed out for, I think it was Kai Havertz that came in for him in like the fucking 70th minute. It was bizarre. I was like, wow, they're already checking him out. So is that what it is, where like Arsenal needs to like figure out how he plays and not make him figure out how they play? Is it that type of situation? Or should I just shut the hell up and just like they'll figure it out and they'll be fine? Because they probably will be, honestly. It was crazy to watch them play United. And you watch United play the best that they've played in who knows how long, while also Arsenal playing the worst that we've seen them play in over a year, and Arsenal still won 1-0. What the hell? You talk about a brand of build-up ball that United was playing, but as soon as they would get it into the box, I don't know, like, guys would just, like, be taking a touch, and then they would be like, ah, and they'd poop their pants, and then some inexplicable thing would happen. I don't know. Ben White was on dudes' asses in that game. But for a guy that I usually don't really care about, because he just spends all his time in a damn tanning bed, he didn't actually look that tan in this game, so maybe that's why he was refreshed, is because he's actually just been really excited to play this game. Actually, this is another take from that game, too, is... So the thing that, not just me, but like everybody says, since the Champions League against Real Madrid, when Declan Rice had 2 of the most bizarre free kicks you'll ever see in your fucking life in a single game. And the take, again, that at least we've had on the show, is like, for the rest of my life, if I see Declan Rice in a set piece, I'm going to chill and I'm going to lock in and be like, what's going on here? Well, guess what? Wasn't it Arsenal's only goal that it was on a corner from Declan Rice? So I don't know. I don't remember if it bounced around and he got like a hockey assist, if it touched a body first. I don't remember how that played out, or if he did get the direct assist. He is also on my fantasy team, by the way. That's a terrible pick. That's not a good pick. But I'm so clouded by what he did. By 2 shots that he had, my judgment is so clouded that I'm just like, I trust this guy, right? So if I very quickly go down the list of some guys on my fantasy team, I won't give you guys the whole team because I know that's not interesting, but I know that otherwise I will get a question or two about this. So, and of course, it's just not going to pull up. Sorry about this. So, in net, Alisson Becker. On the bench, I have Hermanson, Virgil van Dijk, Reinders, Ollie Watkins, João Pedro, Cole Palmer, Bruno, Richarlison, Tielemans, and Gvardiol. That's what I got on this team. And we stink. We're not good. I think the problem is I just picked guys that I know and that I like. I don't think I got good guys for fantasy. I did not at all. Well, Cole Palmer is a good pick for fantasy. But I didn't want to be a cornball and get like Mo Salah. But if I'm worried about winning, then I don't need to be worried about being a cornball. You have to pick one. And I didn't. I picked not being a cornball, but whatever. Alrighty, folks. Spotify. Here's a question for you guys. Pre-ordering games. Anybody can participate in this, by the way. It doesn't have to just be Spotify. But Spotify, this question is for you. I don't know the last time I pre-ordered anything because I am one of those people that is like, why am I giving you money for something that I don't know if it's good? I've sort of been radicalized in that way where you spend so much time pre-ordering shit and then it's like the thing ends up sucking and you're like, why did I do this? I think the justification for doing it these days would be generally an incentive, especially when it comes to sports games, is you get early access, whether it's like 1 day or like 3 days. Early access comes with it, and so you pay a little bit extra money. And I guess I don't really fault people for that, but again, you don't even know if it's going to be good yet. So my question is like, A, are you still pre-ordering stuff? If not, why aren't you pre-ordering? Or like, what's your logic maybe if you are pre-ordering it? Do you have anything pre-ordered right now? Because I'm asking, but I don't even buy games new anymore. I don't. I mean, like I bought College Football 25. I pre-ordered that. But that's different. It was a damn 11 years since a college football game came out. I would never judge anybody for who gives a shit if that game sucked, which by the way, it didn't. That was a completely different thing. So that was the last game, A, that I pre-ordered and B, that I bought new. But before that, I couldn't tell you because otherwise it was like Destiny 2 DLC was the only thing that I was buying new. And then everything else was like even sports games, outside of College Football 25, I don't buy them new anymore. I just wait for them to be heavily discounted either after the season's over or during Christmas or something like that. Or I even wait until on PlayStation Plus when that shit is like free, dog. Like straight up when it's the free game of the month. So I always just play these sports games like super late into their cycles. So like generally every 2 years is when I'll buy like a new game. I'm saying all this just to say, I might pre-order FIFA. I might. I've also been playing a lot of Ultimate Team in FIFA. I'm not buying packs because I'm not a fucking loser, but like playing Rush. But the problem is I'm playing Rush with like a gold 83 overall Ben White. And then there's like a fucking Galaxy Magnum Opal Sunrise Superstar fucking Kylian Mbappe next to like a Pele, next to like a Maradona. And then there's just me as an 83 overall Ben White. But I have a lot, and nobody passes me the ball, and I don't expect them to. And if they do, I immediately pass out of it. And I'm like, I'm sorry, here's a through ball. But I just have fun doing it. Rush is a really fun game mode. I might like buy FIFA 26 or FC 26 the day that it comes out, just because I want to. I don't know. I just want to. So pre-ordering games. Are you out on that? Are you still doing that? What do you have pre-ordered right now? And why is it Battlefield 6? Can't wait for that. One of you fuckers out there. At least one of you guys. No, I have not played the beta. I'm probably not going to play the beta, even if it's still even open. I have no idea how long that's open for. I didn't know that it doesn't come out until damn October. That seems pretty bizarre, but no, I don't. I'll play it eventually because it looks fun. And it's Battlefield. I don't know, they take that IP pretty seriously for the most part. So, yeah. Okay. Apple Podcasts. What's up? What's up? If you're watching this on YouTube, be sure to leave a like, subscribe. Did I leave the segment in at the beginning about white people saying the N-word? Did I cut that out? If I'm saying that and you're like, what the fuck is he talking about? Does that mean I cut it out? Thank God. If it's still in there, it's because I listened back to it. Or I might have forgotten to listen back to it. I don't know. The further removed we are from that, the weirder that I feel about even talking about. But as an instance, I just think what are you supposed to do if you're going to do something fun and the person that you don't know is driving the car and they just start blasting the N-word? What are you supposed to do about that? I don't know. I'm not going to put my hand on his chest and be like, you need to fucking look at yourself in the mirror, bro. Just sort of, I don't know. And then for that guy to then look at you and be like, hey, bro, did you tell people that I was doing that? And I was like, yeah. Yeah, it was wild. And he was like, well, that's not who I am. And I was like, well, but it was. It was when the first time I met you, it was. So how do it's just a one-off, like, something about, maybe it was on me, honestly. Maybe it was my vibes. I got in the car, and he was just like, boop. I don't know what it was. But maybe I need to look in the mirror, honestly. I don't know. If you are watching this on YouTube, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, nice little comment for the algorithm. Make sure to keep primary control in check. And I will catch you guys in the next one.
Beautiful.